When the apocalypse hit, my parents kicked me out to save my sister. The stench hit me first, then I was torn to pieces by zombies. Reborn into this world, I decided to cut off all ties and love. Family? To hell with it. Didn't expect in this messed up world, I'd find my real parents and become the favorite sibling? The stench of blood lingered in my nose. I moved my hands and feet, feeling my body much lighter. Am I dead? Fine by me. At least I don't have to face them again, but too bad I didn't die a prettier death. Joe. You lazy girl, what are you slacking off for? My mom screamed, waking me up. Think you're some kind of princess? Get up and wash your sister's clothes. I blinked, then let out a bitter smile. Even dead, I still gotta work? How bad must my life be? Since I'm already dead, I decided to do nothing and turned over, ignoring her. All those things before I died made me not want to hear a single word from them. Mom, maybe Joe is just tired. Let her rest a bit before doing her chores, I heard another voice say. That was Lisa, my sister. Rumor has it when she was born, my dad found me in some bushes. They thought they'd have a boy, but ended up with a girl. They said I was bad luck and lost them a son. So I became the least favorite in the family. Lisa got all the love while I was cast aside. In the end, when the apocalypse came, they kicked me out to protect Lisa, leaving me to become zombie chow. Hold up, that voice made me jump out of bed, grab my phone, and check the date. December 18th, exactly 1 month before the apocalypse. Last time around, it was now that I got beaten for not washing Lisa's clothes. I clutched my phone, biting my lip to keep from crying. Given this second chance, I'm not going to be trapped by family love again. This time, I only need to survive. Ignoring my parents' curses and Lisa's fake kindness, I grabbed my clothes and ran out. Growing up, I didn't get any allowance, so I learned to hustle early. Checked my savings after leaving the Greens' house. Just 10 grand. In the apocalypse, that might only buy me some ramen. A little disheartened, I packed my stuff and headed back to school. Even if I'm going to die, it ain't going to be at the Greens' place. At school, I tried to warn my roommates to stock up on supplies, just in case. They laughed at me, saying with the holidays coming, why stockpile at school? I kept pushing, saying with the pandemic, it's better to be prepared. They rarely saw me this serious, so they finally agreed. I sighed in relief. With a month left, I got a gig at the supermarket. Even if zombies hit, I could probably last a few days in a supermarket. First day on the job, I took stock of everything, noting expiration dates and items prone to spoiling. Didn't expect a call from Mom 5 days before the apocalypse. Joe, school keeping you busy? Why haven't you come home lately? Her rare gentleness set off alarms. Last time, when zombies were at the door, she was that gentle too, then pushed me out. I steadied myself and replied, just found a part-time job, want to earn a bit before heading back. I knew she'd be pleased hearing this. After college exams, she'd pushed me to work. And took my earnings to buy Lisa luxury goods. After a while, I got smart, only reporting half of what I made. Part-time's hard, you should come home, I made your favorite, she said unusually sweetly, making me frown. Why ask me back now? I gently refused, boss doesn't allow leave, maybe after a few days. I thought she'd start yelling, but instead, her tone softened, your sister misses you too, come home. Something's not right. But still, I decided to go home. Not for them, but for something important I left at the Greens. Had to get it back. As soon as I got home, I saw 2 men and a woman on the couch. They were good-looking and seemed decent. I stopped in my tracks. Not trying to sell me again, right? After my exams, Mom was eager to marry me off for a bride price. Only threatening my life made her back down. In return, I had to work to earn money for the family. The woman got up, walked towards me with a smile, you really are our daughter, you got my looks. I stepped back, still confused. She handed me a bracelet, wear this first, I'll get you a new one once we're home. Another guy on the couch frowned a bit, don't scare her. Sister me? This situation? I couldn't help but ask. My bro, and I are your siblings. When you were born, traffickers took you. We've been searching for you for years. You probably had it tough, but don't worry, we're here. Nobody will bully you anymore. Lisa, looking jealous as hell, shot daggers at me. A guy came up and patted my shoulder. Let's go home, mom's waiting. I asked, how are you sure I'm your sister? Okay, I did get picked up, but didn't think I'd be the long-lost daughter of a rich family. The man on the sofa raised an eyebrow. Of course, it's because of your pendant. If I hadn't been shooting at your school that day, I never would have found it. I looked in the direction of the voice and saw a familiar face. Lucas, the hotshot actor, was filming at our school a while back. I even signed up as an extra to make some cash. I glanced at the Green family standing nearby and asked, so when are we leaving? Whether or not they're my real family doesn't matter now. What's important is that I need to get out of the Green family house. My sister got excited and hugged me. You are my sister, that's for sure. I went back to my room to grab the pendant, not sparing the Green family a second glance. As soon as I stepped outside, there was a stretch Rolls-Royce parked at the door. Neighbors were all giving jealous looks. Looks like the Greens girl has hit the jackpot. I wonder if the Green couple is regretting their decision. Ha! My big brother personally opened the door for me, and after I got in, he and my second brother sat across from me. Joe, this car is yours from now on. When we get home, tell us if there's anything you need. I'll send someone to get it for you. My sister chimed in. Yeah, I've prepared a massive closet for you. If you don't like it, I'll design another myself because our Joe is just that beautiful, a real fashion icon. My second brother didn't want to be left out. Joe, I've got an apartment for you downtown. I'll take you to see it when we have time. Hearing their words of concern warmed my heart. I took a deep breath and said, big bro, second bro, sis, I need to tell you something. Please, trust me. Seeing my second brother's face, it all came back to me. In my previous life, the last news I saw before I died was that the White family was robbed, and no one survived. Remembering that news, I made up my mind that I had to protect them. Even if it's just because of the warm moments they gave me. Say whatever you want, my sister cheered. I took a deep breath to make it sound convincing. In 5 days, a disease is going to break out in our city. The infected will lose their sanity and start attacking people. My second brother burst out laughing. Sis, watching too many zombie movies, huh? He won his first Best Actor award starring in a post-apocalyptic zombie film. Hearing me say this probably seemed funny to him. My big bro gave me a worried look. Joe, that's only in movies. Don't worry, we'll look after you. Seeing they didn't believe me, I dropped it and said, then please promise me one thing, big bro. Help me buy a house nearby. It doesn't need to be big, just well built, and do it quickly. Also, stock up on food and daily essentials. I finished speaking, noticing big bro still seemed a bit skeptical, so I turned to my sister for help. She took my hand and smiled gently, I believe you. With her support, my second brother followed suit. Big bro, just get it for her. Consider it playing house. It's not like we can't afford it anyway. Big bro was silent for a moment, then nodded. Okay. I breathed a sigh of relief. When we got back to the White House, a woman dressed like a well-off lady rushed toward me, her tears falling like a broken string of pearls. Alice. Alice, that's the name I was supposed to have. My sister held Mom gently and reassured her, Mom, she's just come home, don't scare her off. I looked at the woman in front of me, her makeup couldn't hide the weariness on her face. I softened my tone and said, Mom. Mom could barely stand from crying, repeatedly saying it was her fault for letting someone else take me away. I checked the time and bit my lip. Mom, we'll move to the suburbs in a few days. Start packing, okay? Seeing I was serious, my brothers exchanged looks but said nothing. I'm sure they think I'm out of my mind. But it doesn't matter, as long as I can keep my family safe, they can call me crazy if they like. Just coming home, my mom was obviously indulging me. All right, we have an estate in the suburbs. If you like it, we'll move in a few days. And estate too? I didn't expect that. With an estate, our chances of survival would be greater. My second brother was surprised. Since when did we have an estate? Why didn't I know? Big bro smiled warmly at me. Mom and I bought it for you when we found out you were coming back. though we thought it might be too isolated, whatever makes Alice happy. My sister quickly raised her hand, and me. I decorated it. Second bro widened his eyes. Wow, looks like he really was the only one left in the dark. He's accomplished the feat of being the only one kept out of the loop. I nodded. Mom, sis, and I have something to take care of, we'll be back soon to be with you. Right now, surviving is the priority. There's no time for catching up. I pulled my sister outside, thinking two girls together wouldn't attract too much attention. Remembering the tragic robbery of the White family in my previous life, I was determined to prevent it from happening again. My sister and I went straight to the biggest supermarket in the city and ordered 300 boxes of bottled water, along with 20 boxes each of instant noodles, self-heating hot pots, and spicy foods. Knowing they might not be used to such things, I also ordered a ton of meats like pork, beef, and lamb. Watching me order the meat, my sister made a call to turn one of the large bedrooms in the estate into a freezer. In my previous life, I died too early to know when the zombies were finally wiped out. So I bought flour, rice, seeds, and fertilizers, as well as hand warmers. I also ordered 200 power banks. Electricity is crucial in the apocalypse. My sister caught on quick and arranged for some big generators. But those will only be useful when it's safe, the noise would attract zombies otherwise. At checkout, the supermarket manager couldn't help but ask, "Miss, what are you planning to do with all this stuff?" My heart skipped a beat. Damn, I was so focused on stocking up, I forgot about being too flashy. If rumors spread about the White family hoarding supplies, it could lead to another robbery incident. While I was thinking of how to smooth things over, my sister casually flipped her hair and smiled, saying, "Well, it's almost New Year, just giving some bonuses to the employees." So that's it, being an employee at the White family must be a blessing. I turned to look at the truck filled with stuff, suddenly realizing that the excuse might not be too believable. With the White family's status, how could the bonuses be these kinds of items? So, I added, "Sis, what's your branch like?" She gave me a puzzled look, then quickly caught on and replied, "It's a new branch, not much of a scale yet, and I don't want to rely on the family, so the bonuses are just these." She was saying this for the supermarket manager. Whether he believed it or not, I'm not sure, but by the time we left, my back was already soaked in cold sweat. To be on the safe side, we went to another large hardware supermarket and bought lots of tools like hose and picks, weapons to fend off zombies and people alike. Back home, my two brothers were already busy fortifying the manor. I wasn't sure how much they actually believed me. But just in case it was all a ploy to humor me, we were still in danger. My sister seemed to sense my worry and gave a reassuring smile, turning to call my oldest brother. She told him that a friend from abroad had tipped her off, and that it was always better to be safe than sorry by fortifying the manor early. Clearly, my sister's words carried more weight. In a few days, when I checked on the manor, it was secured with layers upon layers. Each layer had double-paned glass, and it was privacy glass too. Worried that revealing the address might cause trouble, I specifically instructed the delivery people to drop things off a kilometer away, and then we'd move them with our own vehicles. It's not that I think the worst of people, but after living through the past, I can't trust anyone anymore. In the early days, wealthy people and families with ample supplies were robbed daily. Later, people learned to fight back by throwing someone from their group into the fray to attract the zombies' attention, buying themselves some time to survive. Unfortunately, I was the one sacrificed. Yet, out of a sense of humanity, I sent a message to the Green family, warning them that the pandemic was resurging and they should stock up on groceries just in case. The message went unanswered, and I didn't follow up. To buy some time, I even drafted my mom, who had never worked a day in her life, to pitch in. Looking at my family gathered around, I finally started to feel a bit more at ease. Just then, my oldest brother got a call and was about to head out. I grabbed his arm and said, "Seriously, you can't go out, not for at least an hour. There's only 1 hour left until the zombie outbreak." I convinced my siblings to send all the staff and security away under the pretense of a New Year vacation. My brother paused, then patted my head with a smile, "Alice, be good. I have a meeting, but I'll be back afterward to hang out with you." I shook my head, clinging tightly to his sleeve. "Come on, she wants you to stay," my mom said. "The company can survive without you for a day, can't it?" My sister nodded in agreement.
"Yeah."
"Alice finally trusts us, you can't just leave." My brother reluctantly called his office and told them he wouldn't make it. I curled up on the sofa, shaking. Just 2 minutes left until the zombie outbreak news would be broadcast. Even though we had prepared, fear gripped me deeply. Images from my previous life flashed through my mind, and I glanced at my family. Would they toss me out like the Green family did? My brother was the first to notice something off. He threw his arm around my shoulder. Are you feeling sick? Let's go to the hospital. I shook my head. Hearing the commotion, my brother, sister, and mother all came over to check my forehead. Alice, are you feeling unwell? You shouldn't push yourself.
Yeah.
If something's off, tell us immediately. Again, I shook my head, trying hard to suppress my trembling. I'm not going anywhere, I just want you all here with me. Mom didn't know what was happening but hugged me, trying to give some comfort. Right then, my brother got a frantic call. Boss, something weird is happening, people are screaming. The line went dead with a final shout. My brother frowned, calling out several times with no response. He stood, ready to go check things out. I leaped off the couch to stop him, nearly falling because of my quick movement. An unknown virus is spreading in the city, people are mutating and attacking others. My second brother read the news alert out loud, his gaze fixing on me. Alice was right, there are really zombies. His hand holding the phone trembled. Almost instinctively, my mother and brother moved to shield me. Alice, how did you know? Mom asked. I understood what she meant. I was just an ordinary college student with no way to intercept such information. But in these circumstances, I couldn't tell them I was reincarnated. I couldn't risk it. My brother gently patted my back. If Alice doesn't want to talk about it, don't force her. What should we do now? Since the zombie outbreak matched my warning, they didn't doubt me anymore. I couldn't let them down. I moved to close the curtains and secure all the doors. Although the glass was for privacy, light might still escape. We only had time to reinforce one more door. Would it withstand an attack? Wary of stressing everyone out, I tried to sound casual. Maybe this will all be over by morning. Let's get some rest, the manor's secure for now. My sister chimed in. Thank goodness Alice told us to stockpile, or we'd be in big trouble. Let's all do what Alice says and get some sleep. She even returned to her room first, leading by example. After everyone left, I settled back on the couch, anxiously scrolling through my phone for updates. The zombie wave is getting more intense. Not just here, but even the neighboring 3 or 4 cities have fallen. It's only the first day, and there are already reports of violent looting. It makes me more determined to protect everyone. Just then, my phone rang. It was Lisa. She yelled at me, clearly upset. Joe, did you know something? Why else did you tell Mom to stockpile supplies? I held the phone away from my ear. Instead of thinking about how to keep herself and her family safe, she's busy yelling at me. I don't get it. I denied it, saying, I didn't know. I just thought to warn you guys. Lisa didn't believe me and shouted, where are you now? Where? Hurry up and get supplies to us, you hear me? If you don't, I'll have Mom and Dad beat you to death. I'll let the whole world know what kind of person you are. I frowned and hung up. In the last life, Lisa was the one who urged Mom and Dad to push me out. I don't have the patience for her anymore. Send supplies? How about sending a slap? After hanging up, I saw my sister standing behind the couch. I was startled. Sis? Why aren't you asleep? She was silent for a moment before asking, Alice, you're reborn, aren't you? My heart clenched. Did I make it too obvious? I looked at her cautiously, unsure how to answer. If I say I'm reborn, I don't even know everything about the apocalypse. In the last life, I died pretty early on. She didn't wait for me to answer. She pursed her lips and said, don't be afraid. Actually, I'm reborn too. I was stunned. Is being reborn a mass production thing now? She moved closer and whispered, when you suggested stockpiling supplies, I figured it out. Luckily, this time I found you earlier and didn't let you die a tragic death. I was speechless. Did they look for me in the last life, too? But didn't people say the White family was wiped out during a robbery? It's like she knew what I was thinking, and she continued, the day the apocalypse hit, we found out where you were, but then we got stuck. At that time, Mom was really emotional and insisted on leaving to find you. But in the last life, we hadn't prepared. The house wasn't strong enough, the supplies weren't enough. On the 10th day of the apocalypse, someone broke in and robbed us. But they didn't expect zombies to follow right behind them. In the end, big brother, second brother, and mom died protecting me. In the chaos, I had nowhere to hide and wanted to fulfill mom's and brother's last wishes. They wanted to bring you back home. My sister touched my head, tears glinting in her eyes. I finally followed the address and found you, but all I saw was your corpse. Thinking about that scene, I suddenly felt sympathy for my sister. Carrying the family's final wish, she found her sister and only saw limbs scattered everywhere. I changed the subject. What about you? How did you die? When I brought it up, even my graceful, elegant sister was gritting her teeth in anger. Wasn't it those vile people from the Green family? I know the rest without her saying. To distract the zombies, they threw even their daughter of 20 years to the wolves. So what would they care about my sister? I was confused. Since you're reborn, why didn't you start stockpiling and reinforce the house sooner? Aren't you afraid you won't have enough time? If you have another shot at life, your only goal can't be to find your sister. That doesn't sound like my wise sister. She shot me a glance, tossed away the nuts in her hand, and motioned to me, follow me. The two of us walked in the dark. She turned on a light. And then, I was shocked. Underneath this mansion, she had dug tunnels filled with supplies. There was hundreds of times more than what we bought the other day. With this, we could last 5 or 6 years without a problem. She said, everything was arranged when I bought the house. As for shopping with you? She touched her chin, smiling. First, stockpiling is never a bad idea. Second, I'm happy to see how much you care about the family. Geez. Too much. I thought I was totally prepared, but I was being played by my siblings. I asked, do big brother and second brother know about this place? About you being reborn? She shook her head. Big brother and second brother don't believe this kind of thing. If I told them, they'd think I was crazy. As for the tunnel, they know it. She looked at me, smirking. I told them I found out my sister's interest, said you liked exploring down here. Whatever I ask, the family obliges. They might think the sister's a little weird, but nothing beyond that. With that weight off my chest, we came out of the tunnel and were about to sleep. But then, the outermost gate's alarm rang. We exchanged glances, feeling a chill. The mansion's in the suburbs. How did someone find us so quickly? Holding hands, we went to the monitor, checking the situation outside. And what we saw made me frown. I didn't expect danger to come so fast. On the screen, the Green family was pounding the gate, loudly shouting, Joe, get out here. You dare hide here by yourself, ungrateful wretch. All those years we took care of you, wasted. Facing the jerks who directly got my sister and me killed in the past, my face hardened. Their shamelessness was beyond imagination. The alarm woke Mom and my 2 brothers. Rushing downstairs, they pulled my sister and me back to the living room. Second brother looked anxious. Are the zombies coming? No worries, you 2 hide, I'll protect you. Big brother rolled his eyes at him, a bit speechless. No, it's not zombies. He pointed at the monitor, it's the Green family. This time, my sister led them to find me early. They knew how I lived at the Greens. Seeing the Green family, second brother rolled up his sleeves and grabbed a hoe, ready to charge out. They dare look for my sister? Let's see if I won't crush them. Big brother held him back, turning the monitor's volume up. Lisa crossed her arms, looking annoyed as she watched her parents argue. I told you already, once we spread the word about the White family having an estate here, someone will help us break in. Why bother? I went pale. I hadn't mentioned any of this to anyone. How did the Greens know? And how did they get the exact address? A shiver ran down my spine. My brother stared at me for a few seconds, then like he realized something. Alice, do you have anything from the greenhouse? I was trembling, just my phone and the pendant Mom gave me. Nothing else. The Green family wouldn't let me take anything else. Hearing that, my brother immediately took out his laptop and grabbed my phone to check it. My other brother urged from the side, have you found anything? Mom and my sister stood by me, gently patting my shoulder. My phone had tracking software on it. It felt like I'd been struck by lightning. No wonder Lisa's mom always knew exactly where I was. Once, when I refused Lisa money for luxury goods, she showed up at my part-time job and caused a scene, costing me the job and a pretty penny in damages. I thought I'd accidentally given away my location. But this was insane. My brother clenched his fists and slammed the table, these bastards. It was obvious now. The Green family knew I was going back and forth to the supermarkets and estate but never did anything. Not until the world was ending, realizing what my location meant. If we didn't take care of them, they might actually bring zombies and crowds our way. Can you change the location on my phone? I asked my brother at the computer. I knew from past experience that he wasn't just the head of the White family but also a tech wizard. He nodded, fingers flying over the keyboard. Soon, we heard Lisa's voice through the monitor, location's a kilometer away now. She must have run while we weren't looking, let's go chase. Lisa's dad hesitated, it's dangerous out there. We should focus on breaking into this estate. But Lisa glared at him, saying loudly, if we kidnap Joe, there's no way the White family won't let us in. For their precious daughter, her parents didn't argue. They rushed out to find me. I sat on the couch, opened a Coke, and browsed the news. Then my phone rang. It was Lisa, her voice sickeningly sweet as always. Joe, where are you? It's dangerous out. Mom and Dad want me to bring you home. Where are you? I'll pick you up. I chuckled. Had I not overheard their plan, I might have believed her. I gave her an address, I'm at Lilac Lane. That was where I left them 50 boxes of ramen as gratitude. If they wised up and went back to safety, I'd let it go. But if they couldn't see reason, well, I wasn't kind-hearted. They wanted my life, they'd face the consequences. On the 10th day of the apocalypse, the city lost power. Online news slowed. Things outside were bad. Robberies were common, some even lured others into zombies just to survive. I figured the Green family must have found refuge since I hadn't seen them. But on the 11th day, they showed up again. They'd reacted quickly, realizing I changed the location, and stopped relying on it. Instead, they stood at the entrance, yelling, Joe, come out, or we'll come in. My brother switched the monitor to show a spot a kilometer from the estate. Looking serious, he said, these zombies were likely brought by the Greens. The screen showed a chaotic swarm of zombies. Oddly, the Greens were unharmed. Lisa waved a speaker and a blood pack at the camera. Joe, care to guess if you'll survive when they come? Crazy. Lisa's mom stood, pale but still supporting her daughter. Joe, let us in. Without us, you wouldn't have survived. I chuckled. The nerve. If they hadn't kept me hidden, I wouldn't have suffered for 20 years outside. Lisa, hearing nothing from inside, activated a siren and opened the blood pack. I took a deep breath, looked at my family, ready to gamble? They nodded. With zombies approaching, I opened the first gate. They rushed in, trying to force the second one. Using the intercom, I said, one of you can come in. You choose. In the past, they threw me out without hesitation. This time, I wanted to see who'd be sacrificed. Lisa shouted, of course, it's me. Open the door. After days of running, she was far from her spoiled princess self. Knowing the inside had food and power, she was desperate to get in. Through the monitor, I saw the disappointment on Green parents' faces. As the zombies got closer, I spoke again. I changed my mind. If one of you draws the zombies away, the other two can come in. They brought the zombies, now it was their problem to solve. Perfect. Lisa looked at her parents, then suddenly said, Dad, Mom, I have another blood pack. If you pretend to be zombies, it'll be fine. She glanced at the monitor and whispered, once I take care of Joe, you guys can go in. My siblings and I almost burst out laughing. They probably didn't know the monitor could pick up sound so well, even if you're whispering right next to it. Quite the plan, really. My mom shook her head, that girl, she's both cruel and selfish. Truth is, even when parents know exactly what their kid is like, they'll still make sacrifices for them. The two of them made a quick decision to go outside together. But just as they were stepping out, Lisa suddenly slammed the door shut. She had the nerve to act all innocent. Sorry, Mom and Dad, Joe made me do it. She made me do it. Blame her, not me. Please. Like I believed her nonsense. Does she seriously think she's some tragic heroine being wronged by a villain? As they stood there at the door and searched their bags, they realized they didn't have any blood packs. Zombies were closing in, and they were shaking with fear. I wonder if at that moment they regretted sacrificing 2 innocent lives for Lisa in a past life. In the nick of time, I opened the door. At least they were quick to react, rushing in and shutting the door before the zombies could get in. I leaned into the mic and announced, "One last chance, push someone out." This time, the couple's faces showed real struggle. Lisa also knew she messed up, quickly falling to her knees and apologizing. "Dad, Mom, I was just so afraid, I didn't mean it." I played a recording from my phone and put it near the mic. Lisa's voice came through loud and clear. "My parents are nuts, what were they thinking bringing Joe home? But they're dumb too, all I have to do is act hurt, and they beat up Joe. And that time my mom was sick and in the hospital, I took the $10,000. They really thought it was Joe. So stupid. Anyway, Joe is mad at them, not me. If there's revenge, it won't be on me." I could see the life drain from the green parents' faces. My mom hugged me tight, listening to the recording. I repeated, "You have 30 seconds to decide, when time's up, I'm opening the door." Lisa begged, saying she'd done wrong. But the greens looked cold, their hearts had turned to ice. Because that $10,000 was for Lisa's mom's life-saving treatment. When it was gone, she almost died. Finding out their own daughter did it was crushing. I counted down, 3. They gritted their teeth and pointed at Lisa, "She goes out." Lisa looked at them in disbelief. I smiled slightly, watching as the green parents opened the door and pushed Lisa out. Through the monitor, I saw zombies tear into her, her screams endless. Lisa's mom shook, wanting desperately to save her daughter, but Lisa's dad held her back. "A daughter like that, we're better off without. We're still young, we can have a son to take care of us." I couldn't help myself and chuckled. They just sacrificed their daughter, and he's already thinking about having a son. Calling him scum is too nice. The revenge on Lisa was done, and I used a drone to lure the zombies away, then opened the first door. The zombies are gone. "You can leave now, there are supplies in the alley, take them and go home." This is my last bit of mercy for them. They looked longingly at the second door, but left anyway. They couldn't get inside anyway. I let out a sigh. I wanted revenge on Lisa because all my misfortunes came from her scheming. As for the green parents, it's not that I don't hate them. I just don't want to carry that baggage my whole life. So I let them go. Whether they live or die, who knows? Day 60 of the apocalypse. After warming up, the weather got cold again. Even with the estate's insulation, without heating, we were all shivering. My sister and I set up the generator, ready to make hot pot. We still have plenty of supplies, so we could afford to splurge this once. As the steam rose, I lifted my glass. "Mom, big bro, lil bro, and sis, thank you. Thank you for unconditionally supporting every decision I made." My sister was a little tipsy, crying loudly, "Thank you for surviving." Everyone thought she was scared by the apocalypse. But only she and I knew. We were grateful we avoided past tragedies and kept our family safe. We don't know when this apocalypse will end. But as long as we're together and united, that's enough. The end.